Hey everybody, we are on another adventure. Today we are in Deerfield, Massachusetts, in beautiful Western Mass. Had an excellent drive through here, lots of good color. On the New Hampshire side we came down through Vermont, so we're in 3 states today. And then came over and wound up here, a place I love to visit. Haven't been here in a while, haven't been to this museum in years, and there's something very special that I want to check out. And you're going to see so many things today that are exciting. We're going to find out what Paul Giamatti has to do with Sam Adams and Deerfield. There is French and Indian War history, King Philip's War, Revolutionary War. This is a little place that has a lot. It's all very, very, very historic. Here's a glimpse of it behind me here. And we're going to start here at the Flynt Center for New England Life. They have a very impressive collection of local things, first period things, an excellent powder horn collection, which if you guys have been following me, you know I get excited about powder horns, and a Jacobite cup belonging to Kay's 7th cousin. So we got to see what that's all about. Let's go. And this is one place we are not members of at the moment, but we'll gladly pay to see this new exhibit that they have and show you guys a personal family connection and a very interesting piece of glassware. All right, I gotta use my indoor voice. This is the new exhibit. Paid our admission. It was a little high. It was $20 a person to get in. They do have a family membership for $100 that we're thinking about, but might wait on that just because they're getting ready to close soon for the season and don't reopen until April. But they do have a lot of interesting things in the collection, and we're going to take a look. There's just so many events in history. The location being along the Connecticut River and close to so many borders really made it important for trade, navigation, and immigration. So there's been a lot going on throughout time, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. First glimpse of some powder horns. This is not the collection now. They've got a huge collection upstairs. Used to be in the lobby down here. I guess they moved it for some artwork, but we will be looking at that soon. I'm excited because it's really, really impressive. Oh wow, look at this needlework. Alright guys, here we go. This is Caleb's 7th cousin, 8 times removed wine glasses. That would be the Old Pretender. Yep. Bonnie Prince Charlie's father, King James, who lived quite the life. He had to, he was born in England but had to go into exile. He sought safety in Italy for years, and that is where Prince Charles Edward Stuart, or Bonnie Prince Charlie, was raised. Of course, they would go on to raise the Jacobite Rebellion, try to unite Scotland and bring Catholicism back in the Stuart dynasty. Did not work out well, as we had the fall of Culloden in April of 1746. It is known as the 45 Uprising, but it ended in 46 at the tragic Battle of Culloden up in the Highlands near Inverness, where we have been. But when I heard that they had something like this that, you know, normally we would see when we're over in Scotland, that they had this in Deerfield, we were like, wow. And they just put these out. Everything in this room just opened yesterday. So very, very exciting. And you can see the detail on there that it is common Jacobean style for the time in the glass. They make reproductions like this you can buy in a lot of shops in Scotland, but this is the real deal. And to think that, you know, they would have toasted out of these, and that Caleb is a blood relative, kind of amazing. And they were given by an anonymous donor, not really even any significance to the area, just kind of here, but wow. Pretty impressive. Of course, one thing that's nice about donating to a museum is that it keeps your items safe and it lets the public enjoy it. So that I get. Lots of artwork, a quilt, and some other anonymous items. This is a really cool mural from 1838. They were very much in fashion during the colonial revival of the mid-19th century. This house did get demolished, but they saved the mural, and here it sits, so it's neat to see it. It's common to see them even today in reproduction colonials, certainly throughout New England, and when we were looking at houses, we even saw some that had these in varying degrees, but this is the real thing from the 1830s, so pretty cool. It's different for a career knives piece. Usually it's like, you know, people doing fun things like sledding, walking through the snow, ice skating, falling in love, hanging out in a gazebo, but this guy's working his booty off. Maybe there's the connection to the glassware, I don't know. It's kind of random, but it's cool. Mr. History Chick, Scottish. I'm gonna make a new label for you, and it's gonna say that. Do you like it?
Very good.
Far, this museum, kind of random. You know, it's called the New England Museum, or the Flynt Center Museum of New England Life. Yes, that's what it is. But they've got, I don't know, I mean, I guess it is New England Life, because like in life, you need a spot of tea. You need to measure things and tell time. But the collection's just kind of random. Lots of furniture. Like if you were into furniture, clocks, stuff like that, yeah, I could see it. It's kind of like a fancy antique store in here, honestly. I don't know.
A fighting spoon. Look how thick that spoon is.
A fighting?
Look how thick it is.
What? How are you fighting with a spoon?
You could hit somebody with that and knock them out. It's like a frying pan. Look at it.
Wow. Use that bowl as a hat. And a pot to
Piss in?
play in. I mean, you've got like all kinds of gadgets and gizmos and who's its and what's its galore. But like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about this. I mean, I'm a nerd. I love history. And like, I guess you could really get into this stuff. I don't know if it's because I've grown up around antiques and I already know a lot about the stuff or what, but I'm just kind of like, oh, a chair. Yeah, there's pretty art. Ooh, that guy looks very serious. Oh, that doesn't look good. Oh no. It's an interesting museum. To have tons of gorgeous colonial era and even post-colonial era clothing, gowns, stays, shawls, footwear, but I don't see it. I hope they didn't get rid of it. I don't know.
Look at this cool chair. It's like a wagon wheel.
It's a spinning wheel chair. Oh, that's literally. See, sometimes I know things. It literally is a spinning wheelchair. Oh, that's cool. And also, if you prick your finger by your 16th birthday, you will fall into a deep sleep, only to be awakened by true love's kissy face. Kind of bad that I'm not more into this. I don't know. It's just a lot of like antiques and chairs and stuff. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll get better. I don't see any dresses or anything. My goodness. This is like, I mean, I'm sure if you were to stop and like read every little thing, you'd learn something new. You'd be like, oh, there's King Charles. He had a bad jaw and was really inbred. And you'd be like, oh, wow, there's so-and-so from so-and-so. But you have to like find the number and go to these things on the end and look at it's just I don't know. So much pottery in China and chairs and more furniture and more clocks.
The pitchfork when they were coming after Beast.
Yeah, I think the way that we're making this fun is by using a lot of Disney references, which is kind of lame and a little moronic. I wish I was like, oh, pitchfork, stamped HCN New England, early 20th century. That is so amazing, and here's a cool story about it. But honestly, at this juncture, I've got nothing. Except, kill the beast. Kill the beast. Now, that is a sweet looking set of dueling pistols. Really, really nice example. Well, this is cool. Look at that bayonet. How'd you like to be ran through that? No thanks. I have to carry those around. That's so heavy. Okay, though. Got some nice examples of musketry. That's a little more exciting. I'm sorry, I'm not more passionate about chairs. Oh, I do see the powder horns over there, though. Okay. There's Hope Springs Eternal. Oh, I do love the old lanterns. Okay, well, these used to be displayed really, really beautifully downstairs. And now they're just kind of like, okay, doesn't it look like they're just kind of tossed in there?
They're on stands at least.
But it's weird, right?
You can read them.
But they used to be like in this gorgeous display, and it was like, I don't know.
This one's made in Bedford, 1772.
Okay, we're gonna look at each of these. But you guys, don't go anywhere, because today's gonna get so much better. It's gonna be good. I have so much to show you. Don't fret with the chairs. Here's what I'm saying about the powder horns. See, like, and you can clearly see Stephen Epsom, Success America, Powder with My Brother, Hero, the Conqueror. George Morley, His Horn, Charleston Camp, number 3, Samuel Webster. The horn made at Warwick. Like, these are so personal. You can really, like, oftentimes these guys were carving these under crazy situations. I mean, sometimes, like, it was downtime. Sometimes it was on the go. Oftentimes it was at camp while they were in camp somewhere, waiting for a battle or for orders. But this would have been such a personal item that they would have had on them, and then in turn they got personalized, and now we get to enjoy them and take a look back and see oftentimes what it was like based upon the artwork that they put on them and the level of detail. John Carl, homemade, at Fort Edward, October 2nd, 1758. That's amazing. Edward Courtney's powder horn. Benniff's horn. Probably not related to J. Thaddeus Toad.
There's Ichabod in the back.
Oh my gosh. They have Thaddeus. next to Ichabod. Stay tuned for more of that history trick videos in the coming weeks to see why those two are related or how those are connected. This stuff is cool. Kay was like, come here, you like this stuff because it's gross. And this is totally your wheelhouse, but I do like the antique medical stuff. Ooh. Those were for bloodletting. See, they believed that disease and sickness could be released by releasing your blood. So they would use that thing to cut open your vein and bleed you. Well, of course, that usually made things a million times worse because, as we now know, we want to keep the iron and keep energy levels up and not deplete a person of their blood. That is not where disease and sickness and viruses and things come from, but they had no concept of that. So they would bleed you, sometimes to death, and do other various disgusting things to make other things come out of your body because they thought that by releasing those things you were releasing what was ailing you, and in fact it just made you weaker and weaker. Oh, look, there's a tourniquet. The thing with the strap and the gold there, that's a tourniquet. Oh, that's for holding a limb when they would saw it off. Some nasty looking forceps right there. A very awesome medicine, traveling medicinal cabinet. Mortar and pestle for mixing. Funnels. Oh, yeah, I do like that stuff. And now back to the regularly scheduled tour of furniture. What'd you find?
Waffle maker.
Waffle maker. Where?
Right here. The Great Seal.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, those are candle molds. I know that. Okay, this is getting cooler by the minute. See, when you start to find something, you're like, okay, I just am not like I can appreciate beautiful things and nice furniture, but I'm not like wanting to pour over every little chest and drawers and table and chairs and, you know. But some of these other things, yeah, I get it. So apparently the costumes, gowns, bodices, all that are in storage and have been replaced by more exciting things like chairs. And the very nice docents in there just told us that in March, the room where the Jacobite glassware and the other objects, the first room we went in, will go back to being textiles. I guess that's where the costumes and gowns and things were. And come March, that'll be changing. It might go back to being that again or something else. They're not sure at this point, but just so you guys know. Pay the entry to get into the Flynt Center of New England Life. It also gets you into a bunch of historic homes for tours. Some are self-guided, some are a tour, and they're every hour on the hour. So we're gonna check out some of those. Here's the parlor. The minister would have greeted people and met with them. Really beautiful. Beautiful example of a New England 18th century minister's home.
A Tory, so by the end of his career, the village is divided equally, 2 Tory taverns and 2 Whig taverns. So you really have to be careful who you go drinking with, right? So we're turning one chimney posting beam into a 2-chimney posting beam. So when you do that, one of the chimneys has to go through here, necessitating this dead space. Right?
It's interesting to have an internal
It's
hallway.
got Walmart stuff in it, right? We got William Hogarth, if you're familiar with him, and other artifacts from that period. Rhenish stoneware that would be made for George Rex.
He's just saying it's like Walmart because there's such a hodgepodge of eras representative in the stuff that's in here. Always looking for the chamber pot. There it is. Love squeaky stairs. An interesting tour. Frustrating at times. There were things I didn't film, to be honest with you. Now's the part where you're going to find out another side of me. not going to get too political or anything like that, but I do get frustrated oftentimes with modern day historians and the narrative or story that they're telling. And a lot of these historic societies obviously have an agenda beyond just telling the history and pushing certain things and pushing them and pushing them and pushing them. And that's what just happened in there. I wish the guy would have just showed us the house and told us the story of the people and let us decide for ourselves. But it wasn't really that. It was definitely like he was trying to make a point, ridiculously so, and in the process kind of bashing the founding of not only the Massachusetts Bay, Providence, and Massachusetts, United States as a whole. The founders kind of goes into everything we stand for. There's a divide with that. I get pretty tired of it, but yeah. And here comes an angel. Hello, beautiful angel.
That's Osa.
Hi, Osa. This made my day. You're the nicest person I've seen. Hi. Hello. This is kind of a creepy one.
It has the watering hole. Or where they sacrifice the children, one or the other.
This place is very similar to another place we like. That's Wethersfield, Connecticut. Wethersfield similarly has a lot of early American houses and buildings. The difference with them is they also have like some little shops and restaurants, a cafe, a gelato place, and kind of more museums and places to tour and places of great significance. This place has like lesser known stuff or things that are known only to those who are deep into the nerddom. And of course, Wethersfield is right, adjacent to Hartford, so like a bigger city, whereas this is out kind of a little bit more, I don't know if I'd say the sticks, but more rural. Similar though in that you have the street like this with all of the early homes, and it just looks very similar, but I'll take you guys there someday at some point. This pretty White House, very significant.
I'll ride down there with you, Bear.
Joseph Stibbons, so he was a Revolutionary War hero and lived in this home later on. It's now owned by the Deerfield Academy. So a lot of these buildings, well, it's interesting. Like the one we toured is historic Deerfield, and the other half of them is owned by the Academy, which we'll talk about in a second. And the Academy either uses them as housing for their faculty and families, or rents them out. So you have kind of this interesting mix of things going on here in the old Deerfield town section of Deerfield. Ooh, a gift shop. We'll take a look. Like this pumpkin, like Tiffany style lamp they have. Super cute. $100. I don't know.
It's a cool gift shop.
It's a very cool gift shop. They had like lots of classy, nice kind of different things in there.
Look at the old wood paneling.
Yeah, it's very cool. Hello, squirrel. Do you want to go to church with the doggies?
Biscuits and blessings for the dogs.
That's, you know what? I'm here for that. Now this brings me back to Deerfield's place in history having to do with the Indian Wars. This place saw a lot of bloodshed, and these folks sadly were part of that. So a very significant time in our history, the raid on Deerfield was a horrible event where a group of Indians, and if that seems like an antiquated word, again, I'm using it in context of the time and what they would have called it. I've talked to Indigenous people about it. It's usually not them that even has a problem with the term. It's people in academia, modern day academia, people like that guy who would have given that tour, that have a problem with the word. But yes, I use that word just because that is what is in the history books and what they would have been called. So here, site of the old Indian house built by Ensign John Sheldon. It stood 144 years, testifying to the tragedy of February 29th, 1703. The French and Indians is now safe in Memorial Hall, or the hatchet. Okay. The raid on Deerfield. Put my glasses on because my eyes are extremely squinty and I don't want to kill you guys with my squinty face. It was tragic. There was, I think, 55 people that were killed that day, white settlers, and even more taken forcefully. Many died along the way and forced to march, children killed. It was very, very violent. Houses were burned here. It was all kind of based on a misunderstanding and change in leadership within the Indian population and leadership here. There was peace early on, and then as King Philip's War kind of spiked off, different areas decided to be angry at different times, and that's how you had regional conflict within villages like Deerfield would have had, and eventually they just came and violence broke out. Again, a very like movie set, Hallmark movie, Instagrammable type of place to come and walk, take pictures, and visit. I can't believe that they, whoever they is, let them paint that historic home in that odd shade of heinous blue. I can tell you that is not historically accurate shade of blue. And this is Old Main Street we're walking down. Like literally it's called Old Main Street. This is an interesting bit of architecture here. A slate roof and weird connecting hallway. A lot of these colonials they added onto. Looks like this was the printing office. And if we had made it to town earlier, that is one, again, that for the entrance fee you could tour. Again, it was a little on the spendy side for what you get, just compared to like a lot of other historic sites that we've been to at $20 a pop. A little high. But I guess if you came early and made good use of the time and went into every site, maybe that $20 a person, you know, obviously it would go further and probably be more worth it if that's something that you're interested in. There's some lovely gardens and a very lovely home. Also the people with the lovely golden retriever, they shared with us that they work at the school and that is their housing. So like I said, a lot of these places are occupied by faculty and teachers, things like that. But you know, it also keeps things maintained and keeps these colonials from going into disrepair. And as you can see, we are literally at the end of the road, so we're going to turn around and go back, and I am going to show you something cool, including a filming site if you're a teacher, because you get beautiful housing in a super nice neighborhood in rural Massachusetts. Your kids get to go to school there, sans cost, and I'm sure that they are heftily paid as teachers, because the Deerfield Academy, for some reason I have a hard time saying that, Deerfield Academy, costs $75,000 a year per student. So, not cheap. Similar to the Exeter Academy, which if you go and you watch my Exeter walking tour video, that is a academy similarly posh that is closer to where we live in New Hampshire. Another beautiful town and fun to walk around. But yes, the Deerfield Academy was recently used as a filming site with a cool historical connection, and I'm going to fill you in on that in just a second. And I really hope that I'm not seeming negative today. I'm not. I'm one, having fun with you guys, two, keeping it real, which is the only way I know how to keep it, and just showing you what I see as we go, because that's how we roll around here. I'm not going to like lie to you guys. But we do still really like this town. It's a fun place to come and walk. It's beautiful in all seasons, and I do recommend a visit. particularly if you're in the area checking out other stuff. Now, the town now is very well known for being the home of Yankee Candle. It was started here, they're still made here, and there's a huge visitor center store. It's kind of like an experience going in there. It's almost like Disneyland. They've got like audio animatronic show and snowfalls and Santa's there every day, and it's a whole thing. It's kind of a touristy thing, but that is what it's, you know, really known for. Why people come to Deerfield now. And then actually, I'll give you some dirt. So what happened was a few years ago, like, actually I don't know, it's probably been like 15 years ago or maybe even 20 at this point. Do you remember how long it's been?
It's not long.
The owner, founder, and CEO of Yankee Candle sold the company to a bigger company, a conglomerate, and he made bank off that, but he quickly regretted it, and so he remembered how much he loved making candles and having a business and being an entrepreneur. So he started Kringle Candle, which is just like 15 minutes down the road. He started Kringle Candle, and their whole thing was that they were like really good quality, similar to Yankee and everything, but they're all white. They started as all white candles, just using pure essential oils and things like that. And now they've gradually added colored candles and other things. And Mike Kittredge was the name of that guy, I just remembered. He sadly did pass away, I think last year or 2 years ago. But yes, both Kringle Candle and Yankee Candle have their flagship stores here, so that's kind of what they're known for these days, along with the other historic things. Okay, so last year, you might have heard of a movie that came out called The Holdovers. It was Oscar nominated. Wait, I think it won stuff. Starring one of my faves, Paul Giamatti. That is here at the Deerfield Academy. John Williams? This was where the house was to the First Reverend John Williams. Which brings me to something that's going to blow your guys' mind. When I was a kid, this is a fun little sidebar. When I was a kid, my mom had a friend, and her friend is a professional singer, and her friend's brother is married to John Williams, the composer's daughter, and my mom's friend would babysit me, hang out with us as a family, and we even went to some of their family events where John Williams, the composer, would be, and I knew him kind of well when I was a kid. How cool is that? And I remember my parents being like, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, you know, and I'd be like, yeah, okay. To me, he was just like some guy that we knew that would be at like house parties and things. And now, of course, I wish I knew him, wish I had kept that contact, wish I had autographs, wish I had gone to concerts. And I'm a huge fan of John Williams. And it's weird because I kind of I've now separated it kind of in my mind. You know, my childhood John Williams that we randomly knew from the John Williams that I appreciate now as an adult and a movie nerd. But speaking of movies, yeah, so if you haven't seen it, it's actually a really, really good, heartfelt, kind of old school style coming of age. If you like Dead Poets Society and Good Will Hunting, you will like The Holdovers. It's thoughtful, sweet, and moving in that kind of a vein. And it takes place here at the Deerfield Academy. Now, why do I say that there is a connection between Paul Giamatti, the movie, and American history? Well. The Deerfield Academy was founded in 1779 by Paul Giamatti's cousin, when Paul Giamatti is playing John Adams. Yes, Samuel Adams founded the Deerfield Academy. He wanted this to be a bastion of learning and faith and a place that kiddos from Massachusetts could come and learn and go on to, you know, presumably go to Harvard and Yale and master the arts, philosophy, the Enlightenment, theology, and go on to be good citizens of New England. And that is the hope upon which he built this place. And I just think it's kind of funny because Paul Giamatti, who played John Adams in the wonderful, if you haven't seen John Adams series put out by HBO, highly recommend. I own the box set, seen it about 1 million times. It's fantastic. And he plays a teacher at the Deerfield Academy here founded by Sam Adams, who I say is his cousin. We even have this joke in our house that when we see somebody else portraying John Adams, we're like, that's not the real John Adams, because to us it has to be Paul Giamatti. Anyways, the more you know. Some cute, cute, cute campus housing. Hey, we found the cemetery. I know that might sound like a funny thing to say yay about, but you guys, I love got information. Look at this. I could have written this myself. Surviving stones reflect religious beliefs, symbols, and motifs of the time period in which they were carved. As faith and style changed, death head skulls with wings gave way to winged cherubs or angels in the later 1700s, while neoclassical willow and urn patterns became popular by the turn of the 19th century. Does that sound familiar from something you heard before? If you guys watched my Quincy, Massachusetts City of Presidents video, you'll know what I'm talking about. I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything, but toot toot! Kind of fun to see. Actually, I've never really seen that pointed out in a cemetery before, and I go to tons of these, so it's cool for people that don't know. And this is quite sad. This is really what I wanted to see, but quite sad. So yeah, the raid of 1704. Here we've got a mass burial mound from that sad time. And, you know, my gosh, whew, squirrels abounding. The people of Deerfield really have been through so much change, so much upheaval, so much darkness, and, you know, eventually, so the end of the story is good. Patriots did start to move here. It being a royalist stronghold led up. Eventually you did have people like that Red War soldier come, and as the community grew up, it became really classy. And, you know, Sam Adams' vision for this to be a place of learning helped as well. With the school being here, it's provided jobs, and now we also have tourism, museums, and cool stuff like this to look at. And here is a really pretty headstone, and it's in pretty darn good shape. Colonel Ephraim Williams. That one's a little on the creepy side of things. That's a little smushy faced winged cherub type of thing. This is funky. I don't know what's going on here. These are really weather-worn. It looks like they used to be really pretty, and just time and circumstance and environment has kind of taken those guys over. You can see here this is listing like all the names of the people that are buried here. If you haven't seen the movie The Holdovers, basically the basic premise of it is that there's a teacher, kind of a misunderstood, lonely, outcast teacher who at heart is actually really wonderful, who works here, and there are some students that are left behind on Christmas break for various reasons. Their parents don't include them in the activities, or they come from broken homes. I don't want to give spoilers or anything because I want you guys to see it. And he, of course, ends up bonding with some of the students, one in particular, and it's a student that is left here, again, during winter break. And coming here, I'm thinking, yeah, it would be, and there's a scene where they go to Boston Common, and it's like, it's kind of like the Goodwill Hunting scene. They actually like go to the park there and everything, and like have a chat and all, but it was like a big deal that they got to leave and go to the city and all this stuff, and he wasn't supposed to, but yeah, you guys will see. But coming here, walking the campus, you're like, yeah, even like today's a weekend, and we're thinking, what do kids do here? Like if they're boarding students, which I think most of them are, what do they do on the weekends and holidays? It would be super boring. So kind of makes it all really make sense. Yeah, if you guys watch the Holdovers, you will recognize this stuff. And I see why they would film here. I mean, the Academy is here, but also it's just a very picturesque, cute, quintessential Massachusetts town. Entrance fee and I mean, I guess it's not horrible. I shouldn't complain. And I don't, like, you know, it goes towards historic preservation and the museum and stuff, which is always good. And it's great for artifacts, you know, to have a safe environment to be in and for people to be able to enjoy them. But I don't ever appreciate when docent or tour guide, and I honestly, like, it's been a while since I ran into that problem. I've been on a pretty good streak of historic guides that have been pretty fair and neutral, which is nice. That's how it should be. But today was the exception, and I tried with all my might and was able to grit my teeth and not go off on the guy. But it's always kind of frustrating when that happens. Okay, I want you to stand there from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Oh, it doesn't work. You know why? You're only allowed to stand there on the weekdays. I'm sorry.
No parking.
I was going to have you stand there from 7 to 5.
Liberty pole planted here.
Oh, so they did have a Liberty pole.
1774.
Didn't they used to have one?
It's right there.
Oh, oh my gosh. There is one. I love me a good Liberty pole. All right, so they would put these. Oh, remember how I told you guys that like things did turn around? Eventually it became a patriot town. So they would erect these as a big thumb your nose and you know what's as to King George. And they would put a flag. If they didn't have a flag, they would put a red cap. They would climb up there and they would put a red cap. That was very traditional. They do a ceremony. Sometimes in these places, the redcoats, Brits, lobsterbacks would come in. They would take the pole down. The patriots put the pole up. The redcoats would take the pole down. The patriots put the pole back up. And it was like a pissing contest, for lack of a better term. And usually the patriots won. We jump and go, ah, over at Chipmunk.
His name's Alvin.
Yeah, we just named him Alvin. Do you want to bring him home?
We could.
What do you think the dog?
The puppies would love it.
The puppies would love to
zone.
eat it. What the heck is with this signage? Okay, the other ones were standing only, idle free. So don't be idle. Carry on, do not tarry. If you guys are a fan of old American architecture, colonial houses and things like that, you'd love it. Even if you just come to walk, like we're doing now. And my goodness, we've walked a lot. I'm over my steps for the day, which is good. I don't mind. I like walking. Just saying. It's a very walkable area. Kate was just saying it's a walkable area, and it is. There's not like crazy traffic you can see, no wild crowds, like I said. It's very chill, very sleepy. That person was speeding. And it's an easy place to get around. So I would recommend it if you're into early America or you just want to come take some cool pictures. I've never been here in the snow. I bet you it's really nice. But we are at the end of the road here. We're gonna see what else we can see, so hang tight. Surprise, surprise, guys. I'm super excited to be here, actually. This is the Johnny Appleseed Visitor Center in Leominster, Massachusetts. Birthplace of folk hero, legend, but very real man who was actually called John Chapman. You might know him as Johnny Appleseed. He was born near this spot in 1775, 6 months after the Battle of Lexington and Concord, to a Revolutionary War hero, member of the Massachusetts militia, what his father was. And here is the largest apple in America. I've been wanting to come here for a really long time, and impromptu on our way home, we ended up taking Highway 2, also known as the Mohawk Trail, which kind of goes along with what we talked about, over in Deerfield, and wound up here at the Johnny Appleseed Visitor Center. You can see it's also like a rest stop, truck stop kind of a thing. Definitely need to come back during the day. We're such goofballs for doing this way. But there he is himself. Now, John Chapman was a wonderful, wonderful man. You might have seen the Disney cartoon based upon his life, and you might think it's kind of funny that they show him wearing a pot for a hat and you know, going around planting apples, but it's not silly. It's very much true to his character and what he did. He did in fact plant apple orchards and hand out seeds to thousands of people across America. He traveled west all the way through to Ohio, and eventually Illinois, where he passed away. He was an interesting character, a pacifist, a vegetarian, part of the Swedenborg Church, but a wonderful, wonderful man, very peaceful, quite the character, very intelligent. People who knew him had nothing but really good things to say about him. He also gave out thousands of Bibles in his lifetime, going door to door as a missionary, pastor type of guy. He never married or had children. I think that he was, you know, married to the Appleseed, and his mission in life to make the country a better place, feed America, and bring the good news across the country to an early nation. And yeah, so, you know, he lives on in art, cartoon, and legend, but a very real man, born here in Massachusetts. And there is another look at the biggest apple. I'm super excited. How cool is that? And near this site is actually a few of the last remaining trees that were planted from seedlings by John Chapman, aka Johnny Appleseed. So very, very cool. The kids and I actually did a whole unit on him years ago, and so I'll have to bring them back here too so they can see. What?
Johnny Appleseed's housing right there. It is. These are all apple trees on the front.
There are how many apple trees?
91.
There are 91 apple trees planted around here as well to honor him, and I just think that's so cool. Apple's very important to early America. In fact, I last year also ventured out to Vermont to go to an orchard that is on the property that Rudyard Kipling, author of The Jungle Book, owned, and they do heritage apples out there, and have very rare varieties, including the Roxbury russet, also known as the Warren apple, which patriot revolutionary leader Joseph Warren's father actually invented that apple, and it is the oldest known apple variety in the country. So there you go, a bit of apple history on top of everything else today, keeping perfectly in theme with the fall harvest and all of that. There are a lot of apple orchards around New England, definitely in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, and they are really good. I was born in, you know, the apple state of Washington, but I'm happy that we have such history here too, because this is really where it all started. And the whole pot on the head thing, there's some theory that that might actually be true. Like Patrick Henry, I know no way of judging the future but by the past. And the past tells us Johnny Appleseed, a good guy. Actually, that tour guide in Deerfield, I think part of the problem is he never learned about John Chapman. Be more like John Chapman and less like the tour guide guy. Anyways, it's always so fun to get out and explore America and see what our early history has to offer. That you guys enjoyed the day, that it all made sense, that you learned something, you had fun, even if we're a couple of goofballs. I hope it's resonating with you. I appreciate all the watches, all the love. Keep sharing away, keep liking. We will be back with more fun, more adventure, more autumn goodness from New England, and stay posted because we have a lot going on. Thanks so much, you guys, and be more John Chapman. Take care.